Okay, we're getting down to the wire here. Over the years, people have attended this event and asked us, "Boy, there's some great startups there. How can I invest in them?" And back in the day, we didn't have a way, but we thought about it and we created a group called 99 Tartans. I know that there's a lot of members of 99 Tartans that are here. It's CMU founders investing in CMU startups, and the bar is very low. Right? For an individual to invest in one company, you only have to invest $5,000, but you have to be an accredited investor, meaning that you're got enough wealth that if you lose your $5,000, it doesn't matter. And if we can get 20 people to put $5,000 in, then we hit the minimum $100,000 that we will invest in the company. We've invested up to $1 million in a company through 99 Tartans as well. So if you're all interested, we have a number of members of 99 Tartans, Roger Corbin right here, Raul Mina, who just spoke with N Legal. He's one of our MBA partners that helps run it. There's a lot of people you can talk to if you're interested in investing in CMU companies. I fell off the TurnUp truck. Oh, sorry. These guys are addressing the labor shortage problem that's out there for small U.S. manufacturers, and they're going to help them retain employees to solve that.
So, hi, I'm Nicholas Swaminathan.
I'm Surya.
And I'm Adam.
And Jeff Mamone, who's our other co-founder, he couldn't be here in person today. In the interest of time, I'll do most of the presenting, and then for the Q&A, we'll open it up to the whole team. So the first thing I actually wanted to call out is that U.S. manufacturing, the median wage is higher than the overall median wage, and it's well above entire industries like agriculture and retail trade. So it might surprise you to learn then that by 2030, U.S. manufacturing will have a 2.1 million worker shortage, costing the industry an estimated $1 trillion. In fact, 69% of U.S. small manufacturers said retention and hiring was their #1 issue. The other 31% put it at #2. So this is actually what our pilot partner had to say about the issue. Any available tool that will help us to be more predictive and give us better visibility around this issue is a tool that we're interested in evaluating. Lower future turnover will make us a stronger company and give us a competitive edge. We're all in. So Aaron kind of gave away the solution a little bit, but I'll explain it again. So what TurnUp does really is it provides individual explainable predictions using survival analysis that creates actionable recommendations and enabled next steps. That way, a business can understand who's going to churn, why, and then take a targeted retention solution like offering tuition assistance, dependent care FSA, or profit sharing so that they can make the decisions they need to retain their employees. So we believe if we do this, we can actually provide a significant amount of value. So right now, U.S. small manufacturers are spending $20,000 on average per employee in turnover costs. That's because turnover costs 100% of annual salary, mainly in lost productivity, and they have a 40% annual turnover rate. We believe if we reduce this by 20%, we can save them on average $4,000 per employee and command a $50 per month per employee price. And using that $50 price, we can get into the scale of our beachhead market. So with 11.9 people working in U.S. small manufacturing, 90% of which are small manufacturers, if we just take 10% of that market at the $50 price, you're looking at 600 million ARR. And then if we zoom out into the overall U.S. labor market, with 132 million working Americans, 90% of which are, again, at small business, if we just take 10% of that at that $50 price, you're looking at $7.1 billion. So who else is competing in this space right now? Well, there's really only 3 companies that make any sort of claim about employee retention prediction, and that is Culture Amp, Leapsome, and Culture Monkey. And so what's important to recognize about all 3 of these companies is that they're workforce engagement software. So what they really do is they send surveys out, and then they make claims and predictions based on those surveys. And that is a far cry from what we're doing, which is using survival analysis, HRIS data, as well as data from outside vendors to reflect the outside market, and making individual predictions and breaking that down and explaining why we made that prediction. So we believe it's a pretty differentiated, and it's not something that exists in the market today. We also believe we have the right team to do this. So I'm Nicholas Swaminathan, CEO, Schwartz Fellow, CMU MBA, have a master's in analytics from Georgia Tech, and 5 years work experience as data scientist. Jeff Mamone, who couldn't be here today, he and I previously worked at Truist for 5 years, and he brings 9 years experience as a PO PM.
I'm Surya. I'm a grad student in SES doing privacy engineering. I previously worked at database platforms as well as taking ML research into productionizable applications.
I'm still Adam. I have been a data engineer at Fidelity Investments. I've done app development for the DoD and the Army, and I helped build our prototype for our first customer.
Woo.
So what's the next couple of months look like for this team? So in April, we're going to launch our pilot with our first pilot customer, an employer of 1,800 in the local area. And then by June in the summer, we want to work on this full time, join an accelerator, and get to 10 enterprise clients in time for a Series A or a seed round. And so that 25K takes us to June, mainly to buy data that we need for that pilot to reflect that outside option. Otherwise, it's coming out of pocket for me. So with that, any questions? Oh, and here's the demo. Sorry.
Why just manufacturing? Over here. Echo.
So manufacturing is sort of the beachhead market because they're very aware of the problem. They're willing to adopt a solution right now, and that's where we're getting a lot of the engagement for customer discovery. But in the long run, other sort of in-demand, high-skill, blue-collar jobs like nursing, airline pilots, stewardesses, this kind of thing can also, I think, have a very compelling value proposition. Yeah, so I mean, you can use it for sort of white collar jobs and like where you have a lot of high skill, like a software business. But the reality is, there's not as many people employed in those markets, right? Because it's high skill, and so I mean, I guess they are more valuable. But manufacturing just employs more people, and we're charging per head, so that's why the focus was there at least initially. Yeah, you could take it there eventually. Yeah.
Is there any specific area within manufacturing that you're targeting?
Within manufacturing right now, so it's actually the first pilot customer. It's their collision repair centers and mechanics. So they're technically not a manufacturer; they're a car dealership. So that's just because that's where the pilot customer is. That's where we're focusing.
Can you go back to that chart that had all the list of and the differentiation, I think?
Yeah.
There. Okay, so of your list of all the features, is there one that stands out the most as most critical to the success of the platform?
Yeah, so the individual prediction breakdown. So basically treating employees differently, right? So instead of just making a prediction for a specific location or for a specific team, I'm saying each and every employee is unique, and here's the drivers for that unique employee, so that we can have a targeted solution that is valid for them and that has a much higher ROI than just doing a general sort of benefit package for every employee.
And can you talk about the HRIS integration? Does that have implications for your go-to-market strategy?
Yeah, so all these major HRIS systems, they use a platform strategy. So they have ways to onboard. For most of them, you need to have a certain number of overlapping customers, and it's a manual integration until then. And then it's basically an automatic integration after that once they sponsor you. Two of them, Gusto and Rippling, we can actually get on them and on their marketplace without actually having any overlapping customers yet.
So you're talking about employee retention, but could you talk a little bit more about your customer retention strategy?
Yeah, so for the customer retention strategy, I think in the long run, network effects is going to be powerful here. So in a given industry, let's say you roll that up, you're just going to have much more predictive power compared to anyone else. And so that hopefully will.
So what is the engagement at the employee level that you're going to, utilize to gather information on these employees?
Yeah, so it's the HRIS system data itself. So we're looking at the compensation data and comparing that to their outside options. And so we're getting various data sources from the Bureau of Labor Statistics, as well as certain data vendors. On top of that, we have engagement survey results. So we are using those engagement surveys as well. We're building a tool for that pilot partner so that they can actually do pulse surveys, which are a little more frequent than the annual survey that they're doing today, to hopefully improve sort of the predictive power of that. Yeah.
I can see where you're identifying people that are likely to succeed and help them succeed by paying them more and whatever else. All the other people, are you doing anything with them?
Yeah, so succession planning is definitely on the roadmap, identifying who can fill that skill gap, as well as how many people you might have to hire in the future if these people do turn over. But it's not a capability we have today.
Right, and you're not doing anything from the ones that don't get fired yet, but you've identified that are likely to leave.
Yeah, so then you need to make a plan if they're going to leave.
Right.
If you don't want to retain them because maybe they're underperformer or whatever else. Yeah.
Do you have particular interventions or recommendations to help these companies not lose these people once you've predicted that they're going to leave?
Yeah, so for our pilot, at least, what we're doing is we're actually triggering an alert for direct managers saying this person is likely to leave within the next 3 months so that they can have a one-on-one conversation and then do a treatment from there based on that actual one-on-one conversation. But in our conversations with other manufacturers, I think one key thing, especially in addressing that 2.1 million worker shortage, is making sure that younger people see a career path and have that career path easily visualized for them. And so building a portal and a tool for employees to understand their career growth at these manufacturers is going to be key as another treatment.
How do you help ensure that employees will answer the questions honestly, particularly once they know that this is launched and providing feedback?
Yeah, so I mean, there's some signal in the survey data, but a lot of the signal, again, just comes from their compensation and the outside market. But so when you do a pulse survey and you ask light questions, people just tend to answer honestly because it's 2 seconds. When you do a big 40-minute survey annually, that's when people start to lie. So if they're not really thinking about it and it's not too intrusive in their life, they tend to be more honest, but they're not always still honest. That is true.
What else are you looking at other than compensation data aside from the surveys?
Right there.
Oh, sorry. I can answer. Thank you.